Sean Sherk is here with us. I'm glad you put the shirt on because I was going to have to do the interview with the shirt off, and then would have gotten ugly.
Have to count abs and see who's got more. I think I've got a couple dozen. I don't know.
I have bigger. They're not really abs though.
Just one.
It's kind of a big fat belly. Yeah, exactly. Hey, so let's get into this fight. First of all, from a style standpoint, I think a lot of people are examining what is Sean Sherk going to do this time around, because for so long you were primarily a wrestling guy, and then last couple of times out, a lot of stand-up. It didn't work against BJ. You got a lot better in the fight against Tyson. So what do you do this time around?
I don't really. I've got a game plan. I've got a game plan that I want to execute. If the game plan doesn't work, then I'm willing to take the fight wherever it needs to be taken. I'm very confident in my boxing, very confident in my wrestling. My jiu-jitsu is very underestimated. I think that's people have yet to see a real solid jiu-jitsu game from me. But I've been training jiu-jitsu for 15 years. I can grapple with the best of them. So I'm comfortable wherever the fight ends up. Like I said before to some of the other guys, is this fight could turn into a boxing match. Our wrestling could nullify each other, and we could end up boxing, or it could turn into a wrestling match. But either way, I think it's going to be a fast pace, a lot of scrambles, a lot of action.
So what's your mindset now in terms of trying to climb back up, and who you need to beat, and how many fights you need to get under your belt to get back in the mix? Because now we're going to see Kenny Florian, who you steamrolled. I mean, it was a tough fight, but you beat him. He's going to be in there. So where are you?
After I got beat by BJ, I looked at the lightweight division. I saw Tyson Griffin as being the top contender. In my opinion, he had a lot of wins. He had over some really good guys. I looked at him as being one of the top guys in the division. So I asked for it to fight with Tyson, because I thought if I want another shot at the belt, I'm going to have to be the top guy. So I asked for Tyson. After the Tyson fight, I'm like, okay, where do I go now?
Right.
Then it's like, well, Frankie Edgar, he beat Tyson. That's another step in the right direction. So I think a win over Tyson, a win over Frankie will put me, should put me back at the top of that ladder as a top contender.
All right.
In my opinion.
Do you pay attention to the internet and rankings, or does it matter at all because the UFC is basically deciding where you're going? Because I find it interesting in the rankings. There is a love affair with the Japanese, this organization, 155ers. They're not all Japanese, but those guys can fight abroad. I've seen Sean Sherk ranked 6 and 7 at times.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I look at those. I look at a lot. I do come across the rankings, and I look at them for about 1 second, and I flip the page. They don't mean anything. There's guys that are ranked above me that I've seen that I know damn well I can beat. There's guys ranked above me that I beat. I look at some of the rankings. Give me some examples. Because
I've seen Florian ahead of me.
Yeah. It's like, people, did you forget I just beat him not that long ago? So rankings don't mean squat. All it is just some guy's opinion. I could come up with my own ranking system and rank myself -- 1 at every weight class if I wanted to. You know what I mean? So they don't mean anything. The only thing that matters is what I do in the cage and a fight night.
You mentioned some guys you've seen listed above you who don't fight for UFC. Who have you seen where you're like, no, that's not correct?
To be honest with you, I think I can beat a lot of those guys. I think there's a lot of great fighters out there, and I've got a lot of respect for a lot of these guys. But stylistically, I just think I'm going to pose problems for a lot of the guys, in the 155-pound division.
What about guys like Aoki, Alvarez, Cavalcante?
Aoki's a good example. He's a big 155-pounder, but he's got no boxing and no wrestling. So where does that leave you in the UFC? You can't wear pants and you can't butt scoot. So guess what? You're in some trouble. You know what I mean? So no disrespect, but I just think that maybe there is a little bit of more love towards the Japanese or the Japanese organizations. But I'd like to see a lot of those guys come here. I think eventually they will.
Okay. You a Viking guy or not?
I grew up watching the Vikings. It's been a while now. I'm so engulfed with what I do with my career that I don't really get a whole lot of free time, to watch sports very often.
Right.
I don't even get to watch mixed martial arts.
No.
No. It's my job. This is what I do all day long. I don't want to train 6 days a week. Live and breathe this, and then go home and hey, let's watch some fights. I'm just not interested.
What about the video game?
I'm gonna have to get that.
Yeah.
Because I'm in it.
Yeah.
I'm in the video games.
I love the fighters because every one of them's like, a lot of guys, I talked to Gray Maynard yesterday, he's like, oh, I played it already. Like, everyone's got to try out their character.
Is Maynard in it too?
He's in it, yeah.
Okay.
But, you know, everyone's like, I got to try my guy out, make sure they got it right.
Yeah. I haven't, you know, I've been getting text messages for the last day or two. Family and friends have the game already. And they,
What's the feedback?
They said it's great.
How are you, though? Are you good?
They didn't tell me if I was good. They just said that the guy looks exactly like me. And,
okay.
and you know, they said in the one of the game stat things, they've got some bunch of pictures of my guy in there, so
right.
I'll check it out definitely. I'm excited to try it out and play it. See what my kids think about it.
All right. So what's most important? The physique being correct, the wrestling skills, the fighting style is most important. So you're not you're not gonna be all concerned.
I don't think they're gonna put my guy in there all fat. Everyone knows how my work ethic is. They're gonna show me a little bit of love, you know, but it's more about fighting style. You know, I want my guy to be realistic as far as I go, you know, as far as fighting goes. I hope they don't make me a one-dimensional wrestler with no boxing. It's like, wait a second, man, I can box, you know.
I saw a video with Quentin Jackson. He was all pissed off because he had no head kicks. He's like, I can do the head kick.
Yeah.
They told him, well, we've never seen you do one in a fight.
There you go. Well, I think they made the game before I really started establishing my boxing. Before I started showing it a lot. So maybe my guy's a one-dimensional wrestler. You know.
Could be a lay and pray, ground and pound guy. That's it. Hey, so
hopefully not.
One other subject. They came out with the new figurines, right? The new dolls.
Action figures?
The action figures.
Yes.
I like to call them dolls because I played with Barbie a lot, so I was a big fan of dolls. That's why I'm in the media, not a fighter. Thanks for calling me out there. But I heard that you were like really Mr. Attention to Detail on your action figure, especially on the shorts. Explain that.
Well, you know, I mean, the good thing about the action figures was that I was able to be a part of the process from the beginning to the very end. You know,
right.
I was able to pick the pose that I wanted. I was able to pick the shorts and sponsors, and you know, I was able to be a part of the whole process throughout all the sculpting and the quote on the box. You know, that's my quote on the box.
What's the quote?
There's no substitute for hard work. I mean, I didn't make it up.
Right.
But I like to use it. I don't know who made it up, but you know, I like to use that quote a lot. So yeah, I was able to be, you know, real good attention to detail on that. So the action figure actually is a part of me.
All right, but I heard the shorts though, in particular, were a sticking point because they actually do have the sponsors on there, and you wanted to make sure that certain sponsors got on the shorts. Not to be a jerk, but I want you to explain that.
Well, you know, I mean, I've got sponsors that I've worked with for a long time, so I want to give them an opportunity to be on the shorts, and then make sure that they're right on the front, so everyone can see them when they're walking, when they see it in the store. So even if they don't buy the action figure, they can still see the sponsor sticking out right on the shorts. So,
now, were there some sponsors where you're like, no, I don't want them on there because you've talked about it. I mean, it took you a long time to kind of get back into UFC, and then when the steroid thing came down in California, you had people dump you. So was it important to make sure, hey, these guys took care of me, they're getting on the shorts?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, there was, you know, the good thing was that when the whole allegations for the steroid thing happened, was that a lot of my sponsors that were with me, they stood by me. Okay. Nobody actually really dropped me because of that. But I had a hard time picking up new sponsors at that point in time. So. I've had a lot of real loyal people working with me over the years, which has been, you know, a lot of help, definitely.
All right. Well, there you go. Sean Sherk. Make sure you go out and pick up the video game, test out his abilities. He's not going to be happy if he doesn't box, and go get the doll. I mean, action figure. There you go. Thanks, man.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks.